everyone. Welcome to the Positively Knitting Podcast. My name is Nicole, and it's always wonderful for me to be able to sit down and talk to you guys about the things that I have been knitting, crocheting, quilting, well, more like piecing, because anyways, what I've been doing. If you really want to keep up with the things that I am doing when I'm not doing while I'm not podcasting, you can feel free to follow me on Instagram. I am Hot Ass Knitter, Hot AZZ Knitter on Instagram. And also there is a Positively Knitting podcast group. So you guys, if you want to, if you haven't joined, please join. We'd love to have you. Oh, and also we had a giveaway that came to an end. So to find out who the winner is of the giveaway, just stay tuned to the very end of the podcast and the winner's name will pop up. And if you are the winner, congratulations. Please make sure to contact me and I will get your beautiful skein of Dazie Knits yarn out to you as soon as possible, which means immediately as soon as I hear from you. So yes, congratulations to the winner. And I am seriously thinking about having another it's not so much as a knit along but a cropped along, so you guys stay tuned for more of that. Okay, so a couple weeks ago my husband and I recorded a podcast and it was not to my standards at all. It wasn't good. I was mad at him. I could tell. I don't know if you guys would have been able to tell. I could totally tell. And I just was like, oh, I can't post it. So I just been busy with other things and making plans and doing things for people. So now it's like, the house is quiet for the most part. The kids are sleeping or playing their games. The husband is going out on errands. And I'm talking to you guys. I'm taking this opportunity to sit down, stop everything, including housekeeping, which gets in the way of everything. Housekeeping. Anyways, I want to sit down and talk to you guys. So, see, Jason just woke up. Hi, Jason. Hi. Okay, so a lot's been going on in as far as my crafting world. So let me talk to you guys first about the things that I have been knitting and crocheting. And if you're not in it, if you don't want to hear anything but knitting and crocheting, and once I'm done showing you guys that, bye. But if you want to hear more about what I've been doing, I'll tell you all. Okay, so the first thing that I've been I've been doing everything, all the things, like for real. Okay, so I am doing the year-long crochet mood blanket. That's what it started out as. My blanket totally started out as a mood blanket. I made a chart and I gave each mood a color, and it was a positive mood blanket. And people were like doing not so positive moods, and I'm not about that. I want to look back in my year and see, and if I'm going to have a blanket over me, I said this before, if I'm going to have a blanket over me, it needs to be full of positive memories. I don't want to remember, somebody making me mad, or, somebody didn't do anything, or, me feeling this way. I want to remember all the positive things that have happened over this year. So I assigned each positive mood a color, and I posted it on Ravelry, and I started it off. And I think I did it for like maybe 2 or 3 months of just a mood blanket. And then after that, it was like, I'm putting the colors that make me happy. So this is a blanket that makes me happy. So you could do it. It started off as an Instagram crochet, or of course people can knit too, a crochet or knit along. There's a group for the year-long crochet mood blanket on Ravelry too, right? And it got pretty big. Like everybody was doing it. It was just so great. You can either do it daily, which I knew I could not do, or you can do it weekly or monthly or whatever. I decided to do a square every week because I thought that I could stick to it. And you know what? I'm so far so good. We are already in June, and I have one more square to do for this month, and I'm seriously caught up. I cannot believe it. I think it's because I like this project. I keep it on my couch and I can see it, and then when I have a minute, for me, granny squares are like a no-brainer right now. Okay, can I just say right now, excuse my hands? I had my nails all polished pretty and everything, but then I was getting into jacuzzi and pool, no, not the pool, but jacuzzi, and doing dishes and stuff, and then I just got to picking the stuff off, and if I had to polish my nails for a podcast, then that's like another reason not to podcast. So anyways, excuse the nails. Okay, back to the mood blanket. Well, it's not even a mood blanket. It's just a happy blanket, right? So far, this is what I have. And I can totally tell what the months are because I know, right? Okay. So, January, February. Oh, is that the back side? I'm showing you guys the back side. I haven't even... Oh, can somebody come weave in my ends? It's just the centers, but I'll do that because I'm crazy how my centers are done. So once again, January, February, March, April, May. Isn't May pretty? And now we are into June. So these are my squares for June. And for June, I've been good and woven in my ends. So I have to do one more, and then I'm going to join it to the blanket. To make the crochet mood blanket, or to make a granny square, which is pretty much what it is, all you need to know how to do is to chain, or you can do a magic loop. You need to know how to double crochet, you need to know how to chain, and you also need to know how to join. That is pretty much it. It took me a second to get it, but once you get a granny square, it is one of the easier blocks as far as a crochet block goes to me. So I love them. They are so retro that they're so cute. If you guys have a problem with the holes in the granny squares, there's on Ravelry, there are a couple of free versions of a solid granny square. And also at the end of, for me, if I have a problem with the blanket, and I don't really, but if it's bothering me too much or my family says anything about it, what I will do is I'll take a piece of flannel or fleece or even a sheet that's the same size, cut it down to size and hem it or whatever and put it on the back, and that'll solve it. So you have like a 2-for-1. But I love the look of the granny square blanket. I am using just leftover skeins of worsted weight yarn, acrylic yarn. I'm using Red Heart, the super soft, the With Love. Oh my God, this stuff is so soft. And I'm also using Vantage Choice, which is a Lion brand yarn, I like the colors. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'm making this with the size J crochet hook. I love it, love it, love it. Super easy. I love this project because it's like not even a deadline. I don't feel pressure to get anything done. And I've been finding that that's what I'm liking this year. I like the type of projects where I don't have a deadline, really. I don't feel pressured to get it done, or I don't put the pressure on myself. So, where's my bag? Here it is. How much here? So, in my cousin's bag, which is a Knitting by bag, which I kind of look like them today. I love this bag to death. I am now binding off my Dinner at the Eiffel Tower shawl. The shawl is a $6 pattern. It's available for download on Ravelry. It's by Jess Doddington of the Multi-Craftual podcast. She's like half of it that they have is Libby. And I was doing this as a knit along with their podcast. Of course, I didn't make it. It was like a 2-3 month knit along. I didn't make it. And the reason I really didn't I was on track to make it, you guys. I really was. But what had happened was that I misplaced my pattern. Now, this is all kind of bad. It's my bad. This is on me, okay? I printed out the pattern and I kept it, and I used sticky notes to mark where I was because the pattern is just really super simple, right? So I don't know what happened. I misplaced the pattern, the written pattern. So I just downloaded it again and I just went off my iPad. However, I wasn't sure which row I was on. So I just guessed. When I found the written pattern, I kind of knew it when I started knitting on the shawl that I guessed the wrong line that I was on. But I knew for sure when I found the pattern. It was like, oh yeah, I was wrong. And it really bugged me to no end. And normally I'm not a stickler about things like that, but for some reason in this shawl, it just bugged me. I was at a point in my life that was like one more thing that I did not need, and but it was a mistake on my part. So what I did was I took the shawl and I just set it away, and I thought about it and thought about it, and I was like, oh, I can just pick up and continue, or I can just rip it back, which is never an option for me, honestly. Or I can just go ahead and bind it off, because this shawl, it was plenty big. So that's what I chose to do. I had like maybe another 8 rows left. So it really wasn't much. The shawl is already big. I'm not a big person, so it's plenty big enough for me, especially once you stretch it out. Look at the stretch in this shawl. I mean, it's crazy. So once I block it out, it's going to be enough. So here is what I have so far, and I just started binding off the shawl, and here it is right here. So what I did was I did the 5 rows or more, 5 rows, maybe 6, of garter stitch to prevent the ends from rolling, and I started binding off. To make the Dinner at the Eiffel Tower shawl, you need to know how to knit, to purl 2 together, to slip, slip, knit, to knit 2 together. And that is pretty, oh, and a yarn over. That is pretty much it. That is it. I would totally recommend this shawl for a beginner shawl lace knitter. Yeah. But I love it. I especially love this part up here. And I cannot wait to block it and have it for me to wear this summer, because it's coming off. I had never seen the Lego movie. The Lego movie. I had never seen it, right? So a couple of days ago we rented it, and that's when I finished my last row of garter and started binding it out. It was good. That Lego movie is so good. I'm gonna go buy it. But yeah, I love this shawl. Oh, the yarn. The yarn is, I wonder if I have it in here. I don't. The yarn is a DK weight yarn. That's what the pattern's called for. It's from Jameson Farm. My husband bought it when he went on a trip to Vegas, and he bought me back 4 skeins. I think I used 3 so far, so I have another skein left for something else. This yarn is wonderful. To totally be sure about it, you guys can check out my project page on Ravelry, because I do have one. Yay, right? Oh, and I'm using a size 5 needle. Circular, of course, right? So that's all that I want to talk to you guys about that I've been knitting and crocheting on. I have been knitting socks. I have started 2 pair of Pom-Pom Pants, but Lois hates. Let me slow that. Lois hates when I say Pom-Pom Pants. So, but they are. That's the name of them. They're Pom-Pom Pants by Pearl Soho, who is by Whitney Van Ness of the Pearl Soho blog. Okay. I made a couple of pair a couple of years ago, and I wanted a quick pair of socks or something for me to do just to keep in the sock knitting groove, but I did not want to do a whole cuff and all that, so I started 2 pairs of those. Yeah, I did 2, and I love them. So far, so good. But I didn't bring them over here to show you. So that's it for all the knitting stuff, the yarny stuff. As far as crafting goes, so sorry, you guys. Okay, so my kids are out on summer break, and my son is like, oh, he was bored, right? Which is like, really, because I will find you something to do. You can wash the walls, you can scrub out the stove, you can go sweep the dirt. That's what my grandmother used to have us do. Like, bored, please. We would never be caught dead bored when I was growing up. So my son was like, you know what, Mom? You're always doing something. And I posted this on Instagram, and it's so true, because I do go from one thing to another. If I'm not, doing embroidery, I'm knitting, I'm crocheting, and now I'm quilting or sewing. I'm all painting. And my husband is like, you should be cooking and cleaning. But I do. Oh, and baking. You guys, I have been going crazy with the baking of the bread, okay? But what I want to talk to you guys about is my quilting. It's gotten kind of out of control. Are you guys like me where when you find something and you get totally obsessed about it and then you want to like read everything about it, you want all the things that go with it, you want to look at all the videos on YouTube about it, and all this stemmed from a Craftsy class. There was a Craftsy class by a quilter named Joe Cunningham, a male quilter, that was completely free. And it was like quilting without a pattern, which is like, hey, that sounds like something that I could be into, right? So it was on sale for $9.99, which is the best price for me. Well, my favorite price is free, but Craftsy rarely gives you a free class, whatever. So, I got the class, and I did it. I made a quilt that's not hanging up right now because I already started. Okay, months ago I started a quilt, and I saw a charm pack at Joann's. It was cheap. I had a coupon that made it even cheaper. I picked up 2 of them, and this thing drove me crazy because I was worried about the placement of the squares and the pattern, and then I was worried about matching up points and everything, and it was just way too overwhelming for me. So I put that quote aside, saw the Craftsy class, went for it, got crazy back addicted to quilting because I appreciated the way that Joe quilts. It's totally up my alley. And the reason that his name rung a bell to me was because there's a show on PBS that's called Craft in America. And then there was one about quilts that started out with quilts, and Joe Cunningham was in it. So I saw that Craft in America, and then, Craftsy class, $9.99, Joe Cunningham. I'm like, oh, it is just meant to be. And it really was, right? So if you guys want to see the Craft in America, I watch it over and over again because it's about crafts in America. You can watch it on pbs.org for free. Just type in the search Craft in America and go and watch it. I love it, love it, love it. If you have the PBS app, you can also watch it, which is free. I love PBS. You can watch it too. Anywho, so I did a quilt, just a little quilt. I took some fabric that I already had, cut it up, and did it Joe Cunningham's way, which is basically free-form quilting. And I was like, okay, I love this. So Lois, who was knitting my bag, she had purchased a big cars panel for my foster son's brother, who was always over here, and she gave it to me, and I never got around to make it into a pillow or sheets or whatever. And she had done this a couple of years ago when he was supposed to be staying with us, right? But he got moved. So I pulled out that panel, and then I pieced together a back for it. It's huge. It's big enough for him, and I bought some polyester batting, and I just to make sure that I could do this thing, right? And I quilted the pieces together. Now, from what I've been finding out, quilting is the act of putting together 3 pieces of whatever. So basically, you have your top, your quilt top, your whatever you use for the middle. Your batting, and then you have your backing, and that's when you sew those together. That's quilting. When you take your fabric and you put your pieces together, you sew them together for your quilt top, that's actually called piecing. Yeah, right? Okay. So anyway, once I successfully did and bound Dylan's mini quilt, which he carries all around, which is why it's not here, it empowered me a little. So I picked up that quilt that I had put away months ago and just decided not to care about the placement, where the squares fell, if they were lined up, because I'm learning. I am learning, and I cannot expect to be perfect from learning, right? So around the same time that I got to finishing this quilt, my sister called me, and she informed me that she is pregnant. So I'm going to be an aunt again. My sister is having her 3rd child. So this was going to be for the family, and now I decided that I'm going to give this quilt to my new niece or nephew because the colors are just so neutral that it'll work, right? And this is, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see all this stuff because I posted it on your Instagram. So I did it. I quilted it on my sewing machine without a walking foot, which is a foot that helps feed the top and the bottom, will help feed from the top. Right, he'll see the fabric through from the top, and it's I did it on just my machine, right? And I used a cotton batting, which I got from Joann's, which is full price, and I used a coupon. Hallelujah. So, and I just did it for the backing because this is going to be for a baby. I used flannel, and it just feels so good. Yeah, right. Once I got done with this, I totally got empowered. I felt so empowered. I really did. I really, really did, right? This might not be in order either, that I was like, oh, my husband had all these t-shirts, and he still has a ton that he can't wear anymore, that have sayings that are too little, that are too big, that he doesn't work for that company for, that he got, and he really didn't want. Anyway, all these t-shirts. And not enough room in the closet. So I saw on YouTube that there was this thing called a t-shirt quilt. Right up my alley, right? So I decided to make my husband, well, now it's a family quilt. So, but out of my husband's old shirt, I made a t-shirt quilt. And this is what I posted the couple of steps. I posted the steps on Instagram. What really helped me with this was a cheat, not even a cheat. What I did was I took a ruler, a 12 by 12 and a half ruler, square, 12 and a half square, a big square ruler, and I centered or got the pattern, right? I got the shirt, the printed part of the shirt that I wanted inside of the ruler, and I just cut around it with a rotary cutter. That is it. And I was like, so all the squares were completely square. There was an option. There are two ways of doing this. Some people put an interfacing on the back of their squares, the t-shirt squares, to help stabilize them. Some people don't. I went with the not to do one. I went with the don't people. And I should have went with the do people. The next time around, I will definitely use an interfacing because sewing this thing together without interfacing was crazy. It was crazy. But I did it. So here are some of his t-shirts. Yeah, and this thing is huge. If you want to see a picture, go to Instagram. My Instagram page is on there. And I backed it with different type of fleece that we have. So we had some Simpson one, and then some psychedelic looking one, and even some basketball one. I pieced the fleece together and I sewed it because I was not going out to buy anything for this quilt, and it is, the family loves it. I did not even anticipate on how much everyone in the family loved this quilt. So I have to make more. And also, I think that this would be a very good Christmas present for my stepdaughter, but she's seen it already, so I'll make her another one. Because the shirts are from her father. So whenever she comes on Sunday, she wraps up in this blanket now because she loves it. She said it's so cool. So it's a good present. I also think it'd be a good present for like my sister, if I can get my hands on her kids, her boyfriend's shirts. I would make an infant quilt for the new baby out of it too. So I think that would be a good idea. So that's done, right? So guys, so it's totally got out of control, right? So I'm like taking pictures and I'm sending pictures and I'm watching. I'm like going crazy on Pinterest with quilts. I got quilt on the brain, right? Because it's the ooh shiny of the moment for me, right? So I'm like, oh, well, my husband has a ton of jeans. I'm going to make a jean quilt, right? So I started a jean quilt. Because once I completed the binding on the quilt that I thought that I could not get done, the one with the squares, I felt so empowered. I had to text my husband and say, you know what? I cannot believe how empowered I felt upon completing the quilt, I feel like I could just take on the world, right? Right. So anyways, I started a jean quilt. And it's going to be jean and fabric, and these jeans come from everyone. They come from my son, me. There's some fabric in there. I pieced some quilts, so I'm starting a jean quilt. Right, I'm piecing together, so that's the quilt top. Still needs to get done. I need to cut up more jeans, and trust me, there's like a ton more of my husband's jeans that I can cut up, and they can't be given away either because they're ripped. They're ripped up the crotch or the legs, or it's just wholly everywhere, right? So I'm sending pictures to my sister. I say, oh, look, I made the baby a quilt. And what I'm going to do is, because I have fabric left over, a lot of fabric left over, I'm going to make the baby, so I made the quilt, I'm going to make the baby a bib with the matching fabric. And I'm also going to make diaper cloths with the matching fabric. And I'm also going to make my niece a bow. That's how much fabric I have left from that. So, yeah. So I'm going to make my niece bows. Every time I make a quilt for the baby, I'm going to make my niece a matching bow. So I have one that has skulls and red skulls and stuff. It's for the baby, and I already made my niece a bow. My sister is like, the baby isn't due until hopefully January, because my sister has horrible pregnancies, honestly. So hopefully she can hold the baby until January. My sister is like, she's excited, but she's like, you're doing this stuff really early. Well, that's because, for me, the end of the year gets crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, it just is, come on now, it's my husband, it's my boy's birthday season. After October, it's like, I can't. It's the boys' birthdays, it's my husband's birthdays, it's my nephew's birthdays, it's my stepdaughter's birthday, it's everybody's birthday, it's Jesus' birthday. It's Christmas, and then it's the new year, and then I won't have time to do all this stuff. So now that I'm coming across it, now that I have time, I'm doing it, which is another reason why I haven't been podcasting, because I'm really trying to take care of business, right? Okay. Also, what I found that there are free patterns for free bib patterns all over. And if you guys want to know how to make a bib, go to YouTube. I'm telling you, I am a big proponent of YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. I was texting my friend Teresa, and we were talking about, she says, I can't remember if you like, every time I see Art Deco stuff, I think of you. I can't remember if you like Art Nouveau or Art Deco. And so we were going back and forth, and I'm like, and she was like, I can never tell the difference. So I told her what the difference was. And I'm like, and the only reason I know that was because I found a documentary about Art Nouveau on YouTube, of all places. And it's completely free to watch. So I'm telling you, the things you can find on YouTube, crazy. And the bib patterns too, and quilt patterns. Okay, so my sister loves the quilts, the baby quilts. Oh, it's so sweet, loves the baby quilt. I want a quilt. I'm like, what? Well, why should the baby get everything? Can you make me a quilt in pink, different color pinks, please? She is my younger sister. She's spoiled, obviously. Obviously. And I'm thinking, well, it's time for you. I am 39. She's 38. She's like, I can't spoil you when you got another baby coming. I can't. And sure enough, what do? You guys see this behind me? All this pink? This is so not me. Okay, anyways, so I went stash diving, and I already had some pink, right? So I got some pink fabric out. I got the stuff that I had with pink. Even there's a little flannel that I had that Lois gave me, and I have a lot more flannel over there that Lois gave me, and that has pink in it, but I'm going to use that as the backing of her quilt because she's very sensitive as to what she likes next to her skin. But then when I would go to like Joann's or wherever, I would find whatever was in the remnants bin, which is on sale, right? I picked up. So it was already marked down, and then you get it, whatever it was marked to, you get an additional half off of that. And if there's a sign on top of it, you get more off. So like the stuff that I picked up was like this was a remnant. And I did not care if it was dress material, shirting material. I didn't care. It's pink, whatever, right? So this is what I am working on. I've been working on this for the last 3 days. I spent some time cutting everything in strips, and now I'm just trying not to care where I put everything. So what I have it hanging on, it's in front of my fireplace, and what I have it hanging on are, you know, the pant hangers that you can get from the major stores for your pants, department stores or any store. That's what I have it hanging on, so I can see it, because when I'm up close on it, I just think, oh, I can't stand it, or it's not okay, and then when I hang it up, it's not that bad. It is not that bad. And I am trying to do like the geese bend, and that's GEE''S bend type of quilting, where it just is what it is, and I'm not really caring about seaming, although I do have to say that I did invest, and it wasn't much of an investment, but I did buy a 1/4 inch foot, which saved my life. Not to mention I bought a walking foot too, and I got that for a really good price and free shipping, because I signed up for the Amazon Prime trial for a month. So yay. So yeah, so this is what I've been working on, and I'm already 31 minutes in, and you guys know I don't like to run. I don't like to run that long, but that's what I've been doing. I mean, pretty much. The positive thought for this episode is to give yourself permission to fail. Or to give yourself permission to not be perfect. Because it's just as pretty, I think. So a lot of times, unless you're just that person. Now, if you're a perfectionist, sometimes you still might have to cut yourself some slack. But I'm not. So give yourself permission to try something and not expect to succeed. And I know it's hard for a lot of people. I know people who expect to do something. My sister's one of those people and I know, knitting's my bag, one of those people too, who expect to do things that they've never done before and get it right the first time. Yeah, it doesn't happen like that. There's nothing wrong with practice, so give yourself time to practice. Yay. Yeah, okay. So that's it. Thank you guys for sticking with me, and thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you guys are doing and what you're thinking. And you can always hit me up on Instagram. I'm Hot Ass Knitter for like the 50 millionth time. You can also send me messages through the Ravelry group, or in Ravelry you could personal message me, or whatever, right? So thank you guys. Thank you. Oh, and a big thank you to you, the 2 women who hit me up and are like, where are you? You know who you are. Thank you. I get it. I don't know what to say. I would say that, people start asking hard enough, I'll podcast, but you might get me looking like this with the eye allergies and chipped nail polish, but hey, I'm happy, right? So I hope you guys have a wonderful week of knitting, crocheting, quilting, sewing, whatever makes your heart happy. And I hope you guys will join me next time here somewhere in my home where I'll be positively knitting. Bye. Congratulations, Spokesmith. Send me your address on Ravelry and I'll send you your home in the mail. Have a great one.